Starting soon, making sure my levels are okay. How loud will I get what I'm drawing? Will I start to get too quiet? Will the music be too loud? This down slightly. This up. Microphone. No, down a little bit. Microphone. Microphone. Microphone check. Microphone check. Meow, 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 meow. And here we go again for another week. It's been a while. I feel like since I've done anything, but definitely been a while since I've done any kind of stream or drawing, and wasn't sure what am I gonna draw tonight? What comic strip will I make? Because I've got a handful written here and there, but it's like they're all too long. But fortunately / unfortunately, I didn't finish this one from a few weeks ago. So we'll at least start the stream by cleaning this up. It'll probably still take the whole stream, but we're just doing a little bit of nice crisp line cleanup in Adobe Animate, and yeah, this is the first page of this particular strip. And then it carries over into another page where Milo gets progressively angrier, and I seem to care less and less. I, of course, know the dialogue for this, but I don't like to share what's going to happen in a comic strip, textually speaking, until it's done. draw the hand like that. That just looks crazy. That looks more normal. Definitely had 1,000 things I wanted to talk about while I was drawing. And as per usual, I didn't make any notes. The week passes and things happen and you're like, oh wow, I definitely have to talk about that on stream. That's a thing that needs to be talked about. And, 7 or more days pass, and that's more than enough time to completely forget about all of the interesting things that you learned, witnessed, or just plain thought of as just like, ooh, this is an interesting little thought puzzle or diatribe or monologue, if you will. I should write this down and talk about it later. And people in the chat might have something to add or detract from this nonsense. And every single time you're just like, I'm definitely not gonna forget this. There's no way. This is just it's too big of a thought. It's too right on the front, on the forefront of my mind. Where would it possibly go? And those thoughts, of course, get washed away with the next 3,000 thoughts that you have throughout that day, because you just can't exist without having 3,000 thoughts and another 9,000 little monologues and discussions with yourself, or just randomly talking to people at the store or where have you. And it's just like, well, now that's a bunch of thoughts that are in my head, or just hearing people in passing as you go to and fro throughout the world. Trying desperately to justify all of your own thoughts and ridiculous projects, if you will, endeavors, whatever it is we do as humans, as a human species. I'd say especially for the past, I don't know, at least definitely the past 4 days, last 4 days solidly, if not the past 2 weeks. I feel like, and again, this is nothing new. It's not like, hey guys, have you heard about Twitter? And there's just a bunch of people on there constantly arguing about everything and anything, always and constantly. But no matter what time of day or night, if you are too bogged down with your own thoughts, or you don't have any thoughts in your head and you're just like, oh, it's whatever, 5 in the morning, and I need to use the bathroom, I'm going to bring my phone, and I know that I can just do a quick scroll through Twitter, and there'll just be a bunch of stuff. And I've been just genuinely, actively, for the past few days, just trying to be like, just leave my phone in another room. It's just too stressful, and not even stressful in that way where it's just like, I gotta do stuff. There's a lot of, it's just in that way where it's just like, too many people, too many places, too many everythings are going through too many things. And I'm just like, I'm not the one who can or will fix everything or anything. I wish so hard upon all of the stars that everybody's goal was to just spending their time and not trying to negate the existence of other people, and there's just too much of that. And even within the zeitgeist of, people are just kind of inherently mean about some things. They don't want to believe, they don't want to help, they don't want to whatever. And it's like, everybody, just live and let live kind of thing. But then there's also like, the earth itself, the weather itself is just like, I'm gonna try and murder a bunch of you guys today. Like, oh, well, hopefully there's a bunch of people like Captain Army, who pops up in the chat every once in a while, who is actively out there, dragging people to safety, bringing people supplies, raising dogs that he's inherited from people who went through or didn't survive dire circumstances. And there's just like, I don't know, thankfully, because of my job, because of being a human in the world, I do get to come across a lot of people like that do remind me, like, oh yeah, we're not all monsters. Everybody isn't trying to, just pop over to the country next door and take it over with force. We're just like I still, it's such a weird, I want to say earworm, honestly, like a song that's stuck in your head that you can't get rid of, but it's a song that you hate. It's like, when you get the song that never ends stuck in your head, it just goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue forever just because somebody believes that they deserve your country and they're going to take it with force. And the part that grinds around in my head is the fact that I just can't imagine anybody that wouldn't stop, at least after a few minutes, after a few days, after a few weeks, definitely after a few months, and go, you know what? I definitely, if somebody was, had a bunch of more stuff that I did, and they came in here and tried to mow me down, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that one bit. And I just can't imagine that, there's somebody out there, there's multiple people out there, and that's their whole jam, is just, I'm not gonna ever switch my brain over to, I shouldn't try to take over this other country. We should all be looking towards each other and appreciating our differences and finding some sort of solace in our similarities. But, that's the thought mire you have to wade through some days, some weeks, some all of the times, to convince yourself to do something with your own time. And it feels a lot of the time like, hey, whilst the world burns, what am I going to do? What should I do with my time? Should I go out there and start spraying water on things and try and keep stuff from burning to the ground? Or should I paint a picture? Like, it's just, just one of those things where it's just like, again, the reason therapy's good, somebody popped in and they just left right away. It's like, I don't want to hear this. Just draw pictures, paint pig. And that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes I'm okay with just like, all right, I'll just talk to myself. I'll just unload all of this nonsense into the ether, and upwards of 12 people will watch it later. Oh man. But anyway, not to, and again, whoever that person was that dropped in and dropped back out, what they're missing out on is this part where I'm like, instead of thinking about the constant vitriol and rain of fire that's coming down upon the whole earth all the time, if and when I do still have ideas of like, I do want to create something, I do want to make something, and still, after so many years of just being a creative person for a living and for a hobby, for life. There's still like every so many days that I still have to convince myself that it's okay to do a thing, like a painting or a stream or whatever. Soup coming in hot. Oh my god. How you been? I hope you're having an amazing day. And yeah, this is mostly like dollar store lighting, honestly. Except the lighting around my little sign there and on the sides of this window / curtains. I can't point. I think that's like $20 light strips from like Walmart or whatever. Yeah, on the weekend, I very much was like, you know what I kind of want to do? I kind of just want to do a little skit. I want to do a stop motion skit like I've been doing. I did one with Skeletor. I did one with Raphael where I stop motioned them and me talking to them and, you know, just more or less experimenting with meshing them together in, you know, in that Roger Rabbit-y type way. Like, yeah, like Roger Rabbit was a huge influence on me. I know that my friend Amanda specifically was just like, I hate that movie. I don't want cartoons mixing in with real people. Like, well, that's the only thing that I want. That's all I think about all the time is how do I interact with these things? Meanwhile, I'm literally right here. I'm right here, and you haven't said 2 words to me, and let me look at the clock. 16 minutes and 57 seconds. You haven't said anything to me, and your whole jam, you claim, sir, that your whole jam is to talk to cartoon characters. And you've got a room full of cartoon characters, and you haven't said word one to any of them. And I object. And I hold this stream in contempt in all the ways that it could possibly be held in contempt, sir. I mean, he's not wrong. You can tell me I'm not wrong. Look into my eyes and tell me that I'm right. Instead of looking at them, talk to me sometimes. I'm here, and I'm correct, and I would like those points, please. Get a scoreboard, put it on the wall, and I want at the end of the night to say, Milo 1, you 0, and 0 equals stupid. That's what I want. Now, that's why I don't like to do once I agree with you, you know, with great power comes great tyranny sometimes. And that's not even great power. That's just a slight bit of, you know, agreement. But yes, it's true. It's true. So anyway, on the weekend, I thought of, I wanted to, I'm just like, I don't really want to do another giant painting like I did of Skeletor and Raphael. I don't want to do it. I'm not in the mood to do a big giant painting. I can, without the need for any permission from anybody at all. Not you, not Ted. It doesn't matter. Hey bros, if you need permission to do anything, I will always grant it. As long as it's for something wholesome and or good. It doesn't even have to be wholesome. If you want to draw, you know, a naked picture of something like a weird furry go for it, guy. You always have. I'm always supportive, as long as it's not violent or dangerous. Just everyone have a good time. And that's what's great about Ted. He's on the wall. He's always just encouraging. And I should look to Ted more often. That's why he's there. He's a good cat. He's a great cat. Avocado Shake does great by having. And of course, you can follow Bill and Ted But Cats on Instagram. They're 2 cats, and their names are Bill and Ted But Cats. But anyway, go back to the drawing screen. I both did and didn't want to do a giant painting, but I spent so much of the weekend just trying to convince myself that I can stop motion my action figures and I can interact with them, and I don't need that safety net. I don't need I don't even know what it is, but that the reasoning that is, ooh, it's part of a painting. It's not just a little stop motion skit with me and a toy, and it's not just a painting. It's Voltron together. I realize that's a Transformer sound, but Voltroning those things together into one little adventure. But for some strange reason, I couldn't seem to bring myself. Every time I wrote it down, I wrote down a little script for me and Orko, and no matter what I thought of, it still ultimately ended, or not necessarily ended, it middled with Orko demanding that I do a painting of him for him. I'm just like, that's not even anything what this little skit has been. It's not about this at all. I mean, where's the camera? There we go. It's just like, I've been waiting. Thanks, Soup coming in hot. I've been waiting to animate him doing something for the longest time. And, sorry, can't talk and draw at the same time sometimes. So what I did was spend most of the weekend on the couch, wrapped in blankets, watching YouTubes and some movies, which we will talk about. And then I I went to Michael's and I got a big giant canvas. I got that set up over here, and the lights are around it. The tripod is there so that I can do a time lapse of it. Even though I'm like, I feel definitely way more comfortable not time lapsing. Would I just like sit down and just start painting and working on something, knowing that a camera isn't watching me the whole time? It's a little bit nerve-wracking, even though, again, it's going to be time-lapse, so you can't see that I'm sitting there going, oh, this is terrible. Let me just paint over that real quick. Let me just paint over that again real quick. Did I accidentally crank up the music, or is that just how it feels to me? It just feels so loud all of a sudden. That's not affecting anything. So even worse, Soup. Even worse, but better. When I went to go buy a big canvas, I was like, it's usually like buy one, get one free or something like that, or they're on some sort of deal. And, but it was like buy two, get two free, which is still essentially buy one, get one free, but you're buying two and then getting another one. And, I was like, well, I only want to do one. I just want to do one painting. But there's four giant canvases. Well, there's three now. There's three in the hallway waiting to be painted on, and this one that I've semi-started by drawing Orko on there. And then again, it's still just like the amount of times, like, I don't know, the stuff I was going on about at the beginning of the stream where I'm just like, the world is at war everywhere. People are going in to Targets and smashing up the Pride rainbows and videotaping themselves doing it. And then I'm just supposed to be like, I guess we'll just go do a painting now, even though everybody is so full of hate of the world. And I mean, again, it's just like every day feels like a Christmas special where it's like, if we really believe hard enough in the goodness of people, then maybe people will be good. But I do know that in the world of doing the Streamlabs stream on Fridays, which I didn't do last week because we had a day off, and the week before I wasn't feeling good. But knowing that I do have this point in my week, every week, where I do get to just sit there and talk with a bunch of people and just make stuff to give away for free, and that's magical and fun. And it reminds me that, you know, again, like, people are good. Like, a lot of, like, the chat doesn't fill up with a bunch of hate crime maniacs or just mean people. And when somebody does come in and just be like, hey, you're not that great. Like, that's fine. I'd, genuinely spend half of my life trying to convince me that I'm, a little better than not that great. And, thanks for reminding me of what we all go through. But then it reminds me to remind other people that it's just like, we're all just making up, what it is as we go along. And we're just, again, trying to fill our days. And you can fill your day with being a jerk, or you can fill your day with something fun and interesting. And trying to, as you put it, Soup, yay, more paintings. Trying to put that in my head instead of, okay, I guess I better make a painting of this. But what's so special about, like, what will make this painting special? Anybody could just do a painting. You just, half of my paint is from the dollar store, half of it's from the paint store. I'm just using whatever random paintbrushes that are cheapest. I'm not doing what the fine artists do. I'm just doing. That's it. And I'm just gonna delete this line and start it again. But in the argument with myself, that is, well, with me, was I there? Could I be in that argument? Whatever, you just want to have an argument with yourself, and then next time just say, hey, I have an idea, and I promise I will jump in and I will tell you it's a bad idea, and you are stupid. So, if you need me, should you need us, we'll be there, huh? Just like that Princess Bride that you're always talking about. But yeah, exactly. It's just like there's people like Soup coming in hot with like just, saying nice things and reminding me / everybody just needs to remind themselves or just be reminded that there is no actual level of, oh, this means you're good enough to do this means you're good enough to do, just like everyone's just doing. TikTok especially has taught us all that it's like everybody can be themselves and just TikTok it out. And yeah, there's going to be a bunch of mean people that pop up, but usually it's a bunch of people saying, yes, more please. And in the interests of painting something for myself, or just whatever, like, I don't have a purpose for these paintings other than, hey, what if they were just for the purpose of practicing painting? I always start a painting and I'm like, what am I doing halfway through? Like, I should just paint over this. I should start over. This is insane. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And in the end, I'm usually like, ooh, I like this, and this about that. Ooh, I wish I did this. And it's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff about the Skeletor painting that I wanted to do differently, but I just didn't quite, trust myself or know. And then I did those things with the Raphael painting. And then with this one, it might be a completely different style altogether, which I kind of keep planning on doing. But mostly, it still, at a certain point, ends up being that same thing that I do, where I'm like, it has to be smoother. Let me just blend this more until it's all just basically the same. But that's why, as an artist, as a sports person, as a whatever anybody's doing, you got to do that thing more than once to do that thing. And again, I've been doing it for 20 years, but I've been doing different things. I've done some paintings, I've done some animation, I've done some stop motion. I've made some physical things here and there. I've done a little bit of 3D CGI animation. And it doesn't mean, I say this just about every week, it doesn't mean that I have to, chain myself, shackle myself to any one of these particular creative outlets or disciplines or what have you. It's totally fine to practice all of the things, to try whatever for as long as you want. And yes, the only real issue is it's like a 4-foot tall painting. It's gotta go somewhere. I'm just in an apartment. My walls are pretty covered already. So to justify it for myself of just like, oh, I'm gonna spend $40 on a canvas to paint something on, but it was like most of the paintings I have in my home, and or the ones that I've given away or sold, there's usually like 2, if not 4 more paintings underneath that I've just painted over. I'm like, well, I'm tired of this, and it's a canvas, and this is the size I would like to paint on. So why not? Like it's not finite. I could just keep painting over them, and plus, I had a bunch of gift cards from last Christmas, maybe some from the Christmas before, and a gift card from today's. From the Christmas that we just had. So it was like, well, it's mildly crazy. Voxney! Paint. It's crazy for me not to go to the art store and get another canvas, especially if I do want to do this thing. Now, of course, like I said, I was just like, I don't need to do a painting. I could just stop motion me and Orko having a good time. But once you get an idea in your head, once I get an idea in my head, it's hard to change it from, I'll just do some stop motion over here and some painting over here. It's like, put them together and make it a movie. Like, fine, brain, fine. You win again. And at least when my brain does win, it usually wins at get up and do something. Get up and do something. Painted in VR. Oh my god. You're doing so much VR stuff. All I saw was that actually, again, I don't know if you were floating. I think you just got here, but like over the weekend, just feeling just depressed about everything that everybody does. When other people are trying to do fun things, and I'm pretty sure it was you that posted like, hey, I was in like VR chat and people, told me to, to end it. And it was just like, what? But just because you can't see very well? But you do so much. Why would somebody? And it's just like, oh yeah, that's what people do. People are just mean. I was just like, ugh. It just destroyed me. Because I was already like just sad about all the other things in the world, to a point where I sat here for a minute looking at this, where I was like, or there's a big Orko drawing over here, just looking at it going, all right, like what am I going to do with this? Should I do this? And I just allowed all of the things, like not even just getting specific. I just allowed, like, oh, this country's doing this. Oh, these people are saying that. Oh, this thing is poisoning, whatever. And I just let them all swirl in my head until I was like, I've just exhausted myself with worrying about stuff that I can't deal with. But and yeah, it's great. Like I said, like I do think it's kind of fun, because for the most part, like when somebody actually says it to my face, I can usually handle it, especially if there's an audience around. It's just like, all right, let's have some fun with this. But I know that, deep down, all those things still cut like a knife, and it doesn't feel so right. But again, like I'm just so glad that there's a bunch of people like you guys out there that are doing it. You're doing it. Like, you're coming up with things, your own premise, your own show, and then doing it in spite of the hurtful people. Everybody hurts sometimes. And it's great that, again, people keep overcoming all of these adversities and creating things. I think, one of the main reasons, like both trying to do this in my own head, but I was talking to my friend Brian last week, 2 weeks ago. And Brian, you can follow him at Russo, Russo Draws, on Instagram and like Twitter and whatnot. And he makes these children's books called Yoga Bunny and Yoga Bunny Needs a Friend. They're under my coffee table in the other room. And yeah, exactly, like, Space Goonie, making it in with a big subscribe. It's kind of like a streaming bribe. And yeah, like, Brian, who's, he's in Utah, we just kind of became friends because of, Instagram or whatever, like him seeing my stuff and being like, hey, you do stuff? Like, yeah, I do stuff. Like, well, what keeps you doing stuff? Like, the need to do stuff. But he's got like, like a publisher and like a writing agent, and he's, actually doing, kids books and dealing with the weight that is like, oh, like, what should I do? I'm writing the script for a graphic novel. I'm doing this and doing that. And as much as I'm like, ooh, like, I would love to be able to do that sometime, like, have, a manager or whatever, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, I love that, the fact that I have the power, to work on these things. I don't have a publisher breathing down my neck. I'm just making stuff to make myself happy. And there's no, there's 100% nothing wrong with that. And trying to always remind myself that it is, like, doing this stream is for the fun of doing a stream. And Rena the Mayor, is like I keep saying, follow Rena the Mayor on Twitter is a really good example. Like, she's a vindicator of reminding people that it's just like, whatever you're doing, it's not about becoming the greatest. You're not trying to become the mayor of the internet. It's becoming the mayor of your own life, basically. And just like, thankfully seeing those tweets every once in a while reminds me, like, yeah, I can just sit here and draw. I can just doodle. I don't have to post anything. I already have a job where I get to make stuff for people, and it's fun. And, but yeah, there's always going to be somebody that just says, like, why you even do this? You should give up. And, on the Streamlabs stream a few weeks ago, that, the dad winner, or the winning dad, whatever his name was just like, but what if my friends make fun of me? Like, well, then after school special rules apply, dog, from the 80s and 90s. They're not your real friends. If this is something you want to do and you enjoy, and, you're not, robbing people or stabbing people or cutting yourself or doing anything harmful, you're just trying to make videos and art and or play video games, then, and interact with the community, then that's totally fine. Skyark. Hey, I'm new here. Out of curiosity, did you take drawing requests? In this case, I just need a rough conceptual character sketch to use as inspiration. Not really. Every once in a while, yeah, if you catch me in the right mode, then I'll do an idea, but most of the time I try to use this stream to just convince myself to work on my own little comic strips. But on Fridays, if you follow Streamlabs on Twitter, we do a Friday art stream, and if you suggest your ideas there, we usually draw it there. Avocado dancing, doo-doo-doo. I animated that for wherever that was, for the generic Streamlabs alert animations. I've barely cleaned up anything. So anyway, I've lost my own track 1,000 times. But in my weekend of trying to convince myself to work on this painting, and trying not to just look at Twitter all day and all the time. Now she's in surgery. Oh my god. Your kid's logo has just been through so much. Oh man. Well, like I said, if she won't do it, I will. just to throw it in the face of Skyark there. But it's a thing that I already said that I would do. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, yeah, Top Cat. That was a Hanna-Barbera, I believe. But anyway, yeah, trying to avoid the internet, trying to avoid things, just watch some stuff and be happy on the weekend. And then, yeah, Reign of the Mares notification popped up and was like, Reign of the Mares just went live or is live. And I think Twitter was showing me stuff from like 4 days ago anyway. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch a stream for a little bit. Maybe I'll just be there for 5 seconds. Maybe I'll watch for the whole thing. I don't know. I'm not good at watching streams because I want to talk. But like, 5 minutes after it was on, it was like, I'm tempted to kind of turn off the stream or go into the other room and just play Nintendo. But yeah, Reign of the Mare was playing Apex Legends, which I don't really know anything about other than, oh, this is like exactly, excuse me, this is exactly Fortnite, except a little more grown-up. Like, I feel a little more comfortable with Fortnite because it's a little more pew pew pew, whereas Apex Legends is very much, nope, that's not a good gun sound, nope. But real gun sounds, just real, more real gun-ishness, and I just always forget, like, no matter what it is, whether it's a movie or real life, I was just like, oh my god, like literally, I was already like curled up in blankets on the couch anyway, just like, oh, what am I doing with my day? And then like Rena's running around. Like, as soon as I turned it on, like, the first thing she did was, like, somebody in her team got shot, and she, like, healed them up, and then they went out, and she picked off, like, 3 people right in a row. I'm like, this is crazy! And then, and I'm not sure. I think she or the rest of the team maybe died on that first one, and then she dropped back in for another one, where they did win. But, like, I don't play group games. Like, when I play Fortnite, it's just like, no, like my friend's kid, it's constantly just like, Nash just sending you a notification, Nash wants you to join your party, Nash wants you to join. It's like, I'm not having a party, Nash, I'm not having a party. I'm not plugged in to hear you, so it's just like, no, leave me alone. And also, when I do play a game, it's literally like, I'll do like 1 or 2 rounds, sometimes maybe I'll get upwards of like 3 or 4, but usually after 1 or 2, I'm like, I'm pretty good. So I always feel like, ooh, should I stream this game? And then after I start playing, I'm always like, ooh, I'm already kind of tired of this. This will be annoying if I do start a stream. I'm like, all right, thanks guys. That was my 10-minute stream. Played a little Fortnite or Mario Kart or something, and then we're done. But yeah, so I was just like, like watching, and it's just like, oh my god, like, and the chat, as you guys know, like my chat was a good, I don't know, like 4 minutes behind before it would show up or whatever, from when I was typing it, and so I can't just be like, oh my god, like, what are you doing? Like, be careful. It's like, you can't just sit there just saying, just becoming this old mom. Watching Arena play Apex Legends, where it's just like, this is so dangerous. Call your friends over to come heal you. And yeah, just getting more and more tense. Or just like, this is so not relaxing, and just mostly like, oh, we're talking about food in the chat. Excellent, we'll just talk about food. And then yeah, I finally downloaded Mario Kart for the Switch, and started playing that because it's like, I'm really not a driving car kind of person. I'm not a driving game type of person or a racing game kind of person. But Mario Kart is just always fun. Even like, I'm not good. I still have zero idea. I keep meaning to look it up. The boost at the beginning. I know on the 64 it used to be like boop, boop, boop. and as long as you hit it on all the boops, then you got the burst. And now I have 0. I did it once, and I was like, I don't know how I did it. And my phone is always here, the computer's here. There's no reason not to very quickly look up how and why you can do the start boost. Oh, and even anyway, just another quick side note about going to Rena stream. Didn't really expect the excitement that I think she mentioned there somewhere of when I popped into the stream where she's like, "Oh my God, Mr. Cartoons is here!" It's just like, I am not anybody. It's like I have a fairly cool job, where you do get to see me, giving away art and whatnot. But other than that, it's just like you're a stream celebrity. Like you're giving away chairs. You're encouraging the whole community and all this stuff. Like say with Voxney, like you're both to me, you're huge streamers. I don't know what your numbers are, but based on the things that you do, is like you're huge streamers, and I'm just a weirdo that draws occasionally. Like 99% of this stream is so that I can talk at Space Goonie. Like that's it. Like I'm not making, I'm not good with making 3-hour drives. I'm super lazy. Still got a bunch of stuff to get done to my car anyway. So it's like this is what I do to hang out with Space Goonie still. And because of the magic of streaming, then it's just like, oh, like new friends, like, floating through the chat and saying things. But it is like, I don't know, it did feel so much special because it's like, I don't go to anybody's streams. I popped into one of Voxney streams once, but it was, I don't even remember what it was. It must have been some sort of VR chat, possibly, or one of those cult games, Lamb cult games, but I was like, I don't know what's happening here. I'm just going to sound like a maniac, and I suddenly am just exhausted by this whole thing. And then I keep seeing, it's like, hey guys, remember the hyenas, Bill and Ted? Like, they're dead now from Voxney streams. Was like, I kind of want to see what's going on there. But, I find it, I don't know, I'm very much becoming my dad, in the, just like, new things. What would I want to watch new things for? I already know all these old things. Oh, man. But I have to say, like, just stopping into Rena's stream, really, like, boosted my confidence. Just like, oh yeah, gotta do a stream. I keep forgetting, like, this is fun, and I enjoy it. I can't wait for Tuesday, even though I really have no ideas of what I feel like drawing. And I've got a bunch of other projects floating around, specifically this room. I'm sorry, bros. Did you guys say something about Ted and Bill dying? Because that's like me and my bros. Let's everybody be chill over here, guys. Yeah, not you, Ted. You're fine. You're totally, just stay chill. Everything's cool. With Bill and Ted the cats. No jinx, no jinx, no jinx. I think if you say it 3 times, it stops all jinxing that could be available. So, in fun talk, in fun time, story time nonsense, once again, I wish I had written down, because I know there was like 2 things that I was like, ooh, I should definitely talk about this. Okay, one thing that I spent the last few days watching, I really wanted to watch Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. Guy Montgomery is a New Zealand comedian. He was on a New Zealand Taskmaster. Best show. Love it. And he does these spelling bees that are hilarious and fun. I'm not a good speller, neither are the comedians that he had, but he did one episode, or not an episode, I can't find the TV show anyway. And, before the pandemic, I still haven't seen the other Alex Horne show either. It doesn't pop up on YouTube. I don't know how to find free TV shows anymore. But but he's got a new TV show that was supposed to start before the pandemic, but then they went into lockdown. So he started doing a Zoom version of the show, and it's a TV show now. I think it just started. There might be one episode out. It hasn't popped up on YouTube. Nobody's stolen it yet. I don't know. Hopefully I'll see it someday. But he's got at least one episode with Paul Williams and Rose Matafeo for Space Goonie, where they're spelling. Rose is really good at it, and she gets really into it. And another one with everybody from the Taskmaster New Zealand season with Guy Montgomery, with the exception of Paul Williams isn't in that one. And it's really funny, because first it's just like, we're going to spell some stuff from around my house. And then he has the best part where he's just like, spell, what was one of them? The Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont spelling bee. Just follow Guy Montgomery on Twitter or Instagram. But the second round is, well, he has a bunch of different rounds. One is like he goes through your old Twitter and finds something that you've written and basically tries to get you to spell something that you're probably not going to know how to spell anymore. And also reminds you of some funny, weird stuff that you said before. But one of the other ones is it's so great. It's so great. It's the homophone round, where he basically is just like, all right, like your word is 8, and it's like you can have and you can ask for it in a sentence if you would like. And they're like, all right, I'm going to need it in a sentence, and it's just like, all right, the lady ate 8 donuts, and it was great, or whatever. It's just like, well, you said both ways. He's like, yep. And then half the time nobody knows. They're just like, but what? Is like, no, you should tell us. And he's like, yeah, no, just spell the word. And you just both have to try and guess which one is the right version and spell it right. And it's just, I don't know, there's something so fun about that. It's very, very, very Taskmastery feeling, and I love it. So they're like an hour and a half long. Rose Matafeo is in a bunch of them. I think she's in like 3 or 4 of them because she was like really good and she's a champion. Another one, they just go through the whole alphabet, spelling. He just has a list of words. One, he got people in his family to come up with words. So sometimes it's some crazy words, sometimes it's easy. 90% of the time, I can't spell any of these words, and I'm like, definitely should know how to spell this word. Oh, wow, I've super become dependent on my phone. The other thing that I finally watched, quite a while ago, I believe I was sick on the couch, so I decided I'll cheer myself up by watching weird, terrible movies. And I think, if not all of them, but some of them were asylum movies, which are always bad. Like, the acting and the script writing is, at best, like junior high level writing and acting. Sometimes there's like one person, they're like, you don't belong here. You clearly know what you're doing. So I can't remember the names of them. The one was like some sort of Jurassic something, where it was like, there's a bunch of velociraptor-y creatures loose in this building, and we have to survive. And it was terrible. But I'm like, I'm in the mood. I want to see some dinosaurs. And I ended up like skipping through so much of that movie, just trying to stop on some stuff to see like, what's going on? This is unbearable. And another one, that was, again, something about basically like Hunger Games type of thing, where a bunch of people are in a thing where they have to battle against dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures, and whoever survives, last person standing, gets freed because they're all convicts or whatever. And it's just like awesome. That one, I think I did watch all of it without skipping through. Again, it was terrible, but still, you know, in that fun, weird way. And the last one that I watched before this weekend's movie was some sort of shark planet, shark water world. The world's just covered with water. It's very, very water worldy, very bad CGI, and there's just so many sharks and nothing makes sense from beginning to end. That one, I believe I also skipped ahead quite a bit. Like, Gamer is like a real one with like Gerard Butler or somebody, one of those people in it. So I saw it a few times. Every once in a while it'll pop up on the internet of like, hey, by the way, this is a real thing. And I'm like, I feel like I need to watch this. I gotta check this out. And fully just thinking, I'm gonna throw this movie on, and I'm just gonna skip ahead. I'm probably gonna skip ahead. I'm gonna watch this whatever hour and 10-minute movie in like 10-15 minutes probably. And I've mentioned this movie before, and this movie is called The Shark Side of the Moon. The Shark Side of the Moon. And I believe the image is like, just a big shark man with like a shark head and a body. And it's just like, well, this is I need to know. I need to know. Somebody has to explain what's going on here. And maybe the characters can do it, because this is just too crazy not to watch. I got to see what's going on here. So I put it on, and it definitely had all, if not some of the people from those other movies that I saw who are awful at acting. And honestly, they might be better than they are. I don't know. The dialogue that they are given, or perhaps forced to improvise around, is just non-existent. And there's always at least one person who's just very excited to be in a movie. Like, no matter what's going on, it's like people are being murdered. You're running around terrified. And there was one lady specifically that is just like, oh my god, those sharks are gonna kill us. Like, you guys don't want to, you don't want to take that again? That lady's clearly bursting at the seams with excitement of being in a movie, or you guys just had a big laugh about how stupid this all is between these scenes. Reshoot this scene, or slash, I don't know. Hey guys, maybe invest in a handful of camera angles. Because they always just end up in one place. Like, it always ends up feeling like a school play. Because they end up jammed up in one place. And then they're all just going through their lines. And whoever the editor is the worst editor in the world. Or the director makes them edited this way. Because every scene has a, like a good 3 to 4 seconds of just like, let me look at the person I'm talking to for a minute, or the thing that I'm about to say something about. Then I'll say it, and then we'll also just hold on me for another minute, and then we'll cut to the next thing. So it all feels extra stilted in that, just like, Milo, are you enjoying that coffee that you're drinking today? Why, yes, I am enjoying this coffee that I'm drinking today. And how are you? Oh. No, that was actually too quick. I came in too quick. There should have been like a long... Yes, I also enjoy coffee. What's that? A shark monster? And then just way too many shots of... And then cut back to the shark man just going... Even though any time that the sharks have killed anybody, they just jump on them and eat them in like a half a second. It's just like, there's zero continuity from beginning to end. But I don't know, I didn't skip ahead. It wasn't funny. Nothing was ever funny when they specifically made jokes. They stole a lot of lines from other movies. just constantly. It was just like, yeah, this isn't a spoof, you guys. This is your movie, and it takes place in the future, so they shouldn't be referencing these things. This is bananas. So it's on Tubi. I believe I watched it on Tubi with like maybe 3 or 4 commercials. It wasn't even that commercial heavy. But I think what kept me in was right off the bat. It starts right away. There's like 2 Russian guys in like a Russian science place, and they're like, oh, talking in Russian, and then very quickly it just transitions to they do that Hunt for Red October thing, where it's just like, now we're just speaking with a Russian accent, but we're speaking in English, because obviously there is nobody that speaks another language on this movie. So there's just 2 scientists, standard, science outfits. They're standing next to a big old pile of fake nothing, which is like, I guess a big tank, like a big water tank maybe, with like lasers over the top. And then one guy comes in with like the bucket that's to feed the shark monsters, even though there's so many shark monsters in this tank that it's just like, one bucket definitely wouldn't have done anything. What is even happening? So the bucket gets knocked over or what have you. It falls. It clearly knocks one of the laser grid things just off kilter easily. Like, well, if the sharks can climb up the walls, they should very easily be able to just move the laser grids themselves. And clearly the sharks are smart like people things, because they're half people, they're hybrids. So these 2 guys are just like, and blah blah blah, we're just having our conversation. Like, even if you didn't think that you accidentally broke the laser grid keeping the shark monsters at bay, one of you isn't going to take the time to pick up that bucket? Somebody pick up the bucket. Just pick up the bucket. Always pick up the bucket. Pick up the bucket. Pick up that. Oh, wipe that up. Somebody might slip. Oh, why can't you just enjoy things? Why can't you just leave some garbage on the floor every once in a while and just enjoy your day? That's not a possible way to live. It's just not possible. Like, I could see, maybe in the real world, we're like, hey, I'm busy and whatever. It's like, this is the only thing you guys are doing. You're scientists. You should be on top of everything. And 2, this is the one. There's nothing else here in your made-up CG room except for that bucket that you dropped, which is where did it go? Where did it go? Shouldn't you? So 5 seconds later, even with one out of 100 laser grids knocked off, all of a sudden, just these shark monster men keep climbing. Just are climbing the walls. They're climbing out of the big tank, and there's gotta be anywhere from 20 to 50 of these things. We're just like, what is happening right now? And they're just running around, eating everybody. People are running, get out of here. They're outside, they're here, they're there. And again, this is like the first 5-10 minutes of the movie. The 2 main guys, those 2 Russian scientists, they run to the space shuttle. They get in the space shuttle. They climb in. The sharks are getting in the space shuttle. It looks to me like there's, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 in there. And they're like, well, we gotta go. If we don't deal with this now, like, that's it. So I guess their solution was like, well, since all the sharks are on this spaceship, which they're not, we'll just fly it to the moon, and that will save the Earth from these shark men that we created. And then they do, and then it's like 5 years later or something like that, and this other group of idiots are going to space, and they're our main characters, and they're atrocious. Like, one guy is just like, I'm the funny, wacky guy. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm gonna guess you probably were a football player. You seem like a sports guy who was put in this movie, and nobody was telling you, tone it down. But I mean, I do appreciate that you're trying to have a personality, because definitely nobody else is trying to have one. Yeah, this is Milo. He's based on Milo, a cat that no longer exists anymore. And then Ripley is based on Ripley, a cat that also doesn't exist anymore, but they did both exist at the same time. And I don't know, I made one video with actual Ripley, but it was after Milo was gone. So he's just animated Milo. It's somewhere here on my computer.
Meow. 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 Meow.
Yeah, because Ripley would just skulk around all the time, and most people didn't believe that she existed. Like, my friend Amanda would always be like, oh, your imaginary cat, your fake cat? Like, she does exist. It's just if anybody else comes around, she disappears and hides, I don't know, in the walls or in the furniture. Nobody would see her, and then when everybody else was gone, then she'd come out and snuggle for like 5 minutes and then be like, well, that's it for me. See you never. And one day she walked outside and just like, what are you doing? You hate going outside. You never get back in here. And then she just kept walking, and I'm just like, Ripley, where are you going? Get back inside. And then she looked back and then just walked away into the forest. And like, well, you'll be back in a few hours, I hope, if the coyotes or the bears or any of the other thousands of wild animals don't get you. And then, yeah, she never came back.
Meow. 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 Meow.
Yeah, you're right. Don't worry about it. You're the sweetest angel. You'll always be the sweetest angel. Oh, and I'm garbage? I'm just over here being garbage? Can I at least be the sweetest garbage? You're definitely hot garbage, but I mean, you're not a sweet. You're not sweet, and you're not an angel. You're a borderline monster. You're practically a shark monster. That's what I know.
That's what I like about that particular cat. Monsters all the way, everyone, with Stephanie K. Canadian reference.
Thanks, Skeletor. So these other guys, they're flying to the moon. For whatever reason, some sort of mission to the moon. It doesn't matter, because it goes haywire right away. They're going to the moon, something breaks on the ship, something happens, and, first they crash into the satellite. That would be the thing they'd need to communicate back with Earth to tell them where they're in trouble. And then when they crash into the planet, they crash into the other satellite uplink thing that will also connect them. They're like, well, we got enough food and air for like months. We'll be fine. They'll send something once we don't respond after like a day or whatever. So like we're not trapped here. Everything's gonna be cool. So they put on the fakest spacesuits you've ever seen, and they go outside to check things out, to see if they can salvage something from the communication dealies that they just destroyed. And then the only time in the movie, which is like, why are they not doing this and how are they doing this? But the sharks are like, fin through the top of the water, just charging through moon rock. Like, moon rock. Maybe it's all sandy. I don't know enough about the moon, but I don't care how tough you are. I don't care if you got a fin on your hat. I don't care if your hat is like a shark's fin, LL Cool James. But I don't think they had shark tails either. I think they were mostly just gray bodies, and then some of them had a fin on their head, and some of them had a fin on their back. But they just swam through the rock and jumped out and just ate like a person or two. And they're like, we gotta get out of here. So then the Russian guy from the beginning, he shows up and is like, you gotta come with me if you want to live. Like, no, we gotta get back to our ship. Like, you can't go back to your ship. If you go back to your ship, the sharks will figure out where your ship is, and then they'll kill you. Meanwhile, this is all just shot on green screen. Sometimes they have no shadows on the ground. Sometimes they do. Sometimes the background just straight up disappears before the end of the scene. Oh, man. And again, really encourages me to be like, I gotta make a movie. I gotta get, my little robot guy, finish writing a script. Actually sit down and write a script for what his story is, and make either a short movie or just go crazy and make a mind-numbingly, way too long, feature-length piece of nonsense that is like 90% filler, because why not? So, dude shows up with a Russian guy and a girl who clearly has a fin on her back, but she just looks like a regular lady. And all I could think of was like, oh, they're gonna, definitely he had sex with the sharks, right? Like that's what they're gonna be getting to eventually. Is you totally, is this your daughter? And she's like, no, she was just one of the hybrids that was born. They just started reproducing asexually. I didn't do anything. It's like, all right. And I mean, this thing was rated, I forget what the rating was. It was like TVMA or something like that. It said it was like violence, language, nudity. It said it had everything. And it was just like, all right, whatever. It had nothing. Like, nobody even so much as swore. It's just, you guys are being eaten by sharks and nothing. Dude, you got your leg chopped off and then cauterized, and you're just like, hey! Still, nobody's gonna swear through any of this? Like, okay, that's fine. It's a wholesome family, weird movie. But anyway, where it's just like, they'll find your ship. At any point in time, whenever they're on the moon, there's nothing else. Like, it's just prairies. Like, it's just, there's no reason to not be able to see. It might not have said nudity, but it did say it was like still mature, so I at least expected swearing. And literally, the last line, spoiler alert, soup coming in hot. The last line is, oh, we're da 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 da. Credits rolling up. Oh man, definitely make a comic strip. Always be making comic strips. ABMCs. Always be making them comic strips. Comic strips, please. So like every bit of reasoning was just bananas. Like just bananas. At one point they tried to do the Jurassic Park hiding under the table scenes and what have you, but it was just like the table was like 6 feet high. There's nothing hiding anything. It's just like, how could the shark not find you? What are you doing? What are you doing? And the CG is bad. It's real bad. There's like 2 or 3 scenes that are just like, somebody knows what they're doing, or they at least bought some half decent models, and others are just like, what you guys really thought this was done? So there's a bunch of female sharks, which is the weird thing, is like all of the sharks like don't wear clothes. They're just big, giant, bulky shark monster guys. They're like, 10 feet tall. But then they keep running into lady sharks. Like the shark in charge is a lady shark. It's like got this Mako head that clearly was like, that was an expensive head. The lip sync is really good. The hands clearly were not rigged, and they did not pay anybody to rig the hands, because they're just like, hey, what's going on? I'm talking right now. Like, why aren't you moving your fingers at all? And then at certain points, like, the hands are closed, and then they're open, but that's it. But the head was really well done, but, like, all of the lady shark characters are all wearing clothes. Some of them kind of have boobs, I guess. But they're, like, to the point, like, the main lady, like, she's got, like, leggings, like, I want to say stretch pants. Leggings is the word. And then some kind of like, armor top, and then but the shark head is just kind of like sticking out like it's a Bruce Banner and a Hulkbuster. But that one, like the lip sync, I was mildly impressed. I was like, some of this could have been okay. But most of the animation was bad. Most of the camera angles were bad. The green screening, bad. But it was just like this, you Asylum guys was like, you could make something good. Like, I realized that's half the gag, is that's why people watch it, because it's like, we know it's kind of thrown together, or it's kind of cheaply done. But clearly the potential is there. It's like, you could make something decent. There's so many good, the CG isn't necessarily the problem. It's just the planning. You guys clearly didn't plan anything, and a lot of this stuff is just let's make it up as we go along. Because all of the major plot points, I had to keep going back and just going like, what just happened? Like, at the end, again, spoiler alert. At the end, a bunch of weird nonsense happens. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this. So when they're on the moon and the Russian guy and his daughter, the shark hybrid lady, show up and she's like doing flips and she's got like, you know, a double-ended spear knife thing. But obviously nobody's taking any training. Everybody's just kind of like, huh? And everybody's fake running. No matter how much, it's just like you got plenty of room. You could really run, but everybody's just like, we gotta get out of here. Oh, I'm actually running. No, you're not. That's the fakest. Me pretend running in my chair just looked way more real than what you guys are doing. And you're actually physically, you're not on a green screen right now. You're just running down a hallway. And again, they use the same backgrounds for everything. They've got like, you know, 2 different places to shoot, and then a bunch of like CG stuff. But then at the end, I was like, I don't know what. Oh yeah, I keep cutting myself off. So Russian guy shows up with the lady, and at first they're like, whoa, wait a second, like, how is she breathing? She doesn't have any sort of oxygen. Like, how is anything? Not only does she not have any kind of oxygen, she's got no helmet. She's just wearing regular clothes, and all of this is fine. And the Russian guy is just like, why are you singling her out? Because the Russian guy, like, yeah, he's got a little, you know, oxygen tank tube going into his nose, which is barely hanging on. But he's still talking. He's still talking. Again, I don't know enough about the moon, but he's not wearing a helmet. He's got like it looks like one of those medieval, I don't know, bard's caps or whatever, where it's like, it's not leather, but it looks like it's kind of supposed to be reminiscent of like diving chainmail maybe, but it's definitely not. But it's just like a little cap with little flaps, and he's got this little thing here, and then he's just wearing like just clothes. Like, it's the same material as the hat, but it's just like, I don't care if he has oxygen. Like, he's not talking. Every time he opens his mouth, he should die, I'm pretty sure. What? And they're fine with this. These are astronauts. These are astronauts who came in a spaceship, and they're wearing fake spacesuits. But at least they were spacesuits. So then they go back to his place, because it's like, well, you can't go to your base, because they'll take your ship. Come with us, and then we'll go back to your ship, and then we'll all get out of here, because I'm a rocket scientist anyway. So he's telling them a bunch of nonsense that we're supposed to buy into, even though, you know, it doesn't make any sense. Explaining, like, why she can breathe, explaining why, like, oh, this material is like this, and I grew this special algae, so it grows, so it provides all kinds of oxygen, so, you know, get rid of your oxygen tanks, they're stupid. You know, your costumes, like, they're not gonna work. Put on these flimsy pajamas and this little breathing tube from a hospital, and then you're better off than what you were. Like, what? We're just gonna, all right, suspension of disbelief suspended. Carry on, but watch yourself, counselor. Yeah, it turns out, like, the sharks, they built like a big crazy moon base that goes into the ground. There's just all kinds of tech everywhere, where it's like, you came up in one ship, and then they show us later that ship is still intact and it flew. So it's like, what did they build any of this stuff out of? Anyway, so many scenes where it's just like, oh my god, these are all the baby embryos. There's so many of them. And it's like, and they're looking around. It's just like, did nobody tell you they're only going to be over here on the other side of the room? Because there's nothing here, you guys. There's nothing here. What is happening? Oh, man. So, at one point, again, spoiler, there's no way to spoil any of this. It doesn't matter what I say. I can tell you everything. You're still going to be surprised by everything when you see it unfold as a movie that people spend money on. One guy sacrifices his ship to whatever, blow up the shark base or whatever, so they can't come to Earth. and eat everybody. The other ship also gets compromised, so you can't take that ship back either. And then there's like a fight with the queen of the sharks and like the last remaining 3 or 4 people. And it's just like, oh, what is happening? Lava is spewing up, because of all the lava on the moon. And then she brings out her big shark. There's like a big shark that kind of walks like it's a puppy. It's got like 4 fins, but it just uses them like legs. And it's just big and weird looking. Just a very poorly modified shark CG model. And I'm just like, what's going on? I was like, are people getting eaten by this big shark? I can't see. I don't know. It just happens so quickly. And again, they only have so many camera angles they can use and so much background. And then all of a sudden, it's just splash. They land in the ocean on Earth. And like say survival boat, the inflatable survival raft inflates with them on it, where it's like, and it floats to the surface, where it's just like, okay. The like 2 humans and the shark lady survive on this thing. But it was just like, how did that happen? You were just on the moon. It took you a long time to fly to the moon in a spaceship. I'm pretty sure both of your spaceships were exploded. How did you guys just get here? So I rewound it back, and I was like, I'm still not sure what happened. And rewound it back a 3rd time, and it was like, okay, it happens real quick. I was like, okay, that's what I thought. I thought that the good guys had gotten eaten by the big shark. The lady shark was grabbing something and throwing it into his mouth, and they were just like, whoop, just dropping in there like it was no big deal. But it was so quick that it was like, what even was that? Was she feeding her own shark warriors to this shark? And I don't know why, but that's what I thought. And then I eventually realized, like, okay, so what happened was, because of all of the lava exploding out from when the other guy crashed his ship, the shark queen was throwing the good guys into the big shark's mouth, and then the lava explosion apparently shot that big shark from the moon all the way to Earth, where it instantly exploded in the water. That's why I didn't see a shark landing I didn't see anything. It was just boom, explode, and it was just a survival raft inflating. I'm just like, where did any of this come from? Other than earlier, it was like, take this with you. Like, I've been saving this. This is going to be my survival raft or whatever. Like, okay, Russian guy. And then if you do watch it, I won't spoil the next little bit, because there's still a little bit more that's just like, what? Are you guys sure? Like, this is how I would have ended it. Like, it's definitely not the way a big budget movie would, a blockbuster wouldn't end this way. But I'm like, this is how I would have ended it for sure. So I do have to give you points for that. But, oh man. Like, oh man. Just amazing, but so many of the shots were just like these just huge sharks just going and then cut back to the human just going like and they're dodging things that there's nothing to dodge, and the sharks, they can only move their arms so much because, once again, I'm pretty sure they just weren't rigged properly. They just bought them, probably for like $50, maybe $150. None of them really went together, so that's why it was also like, you didn't do character design. You just bought random internet models and made a movie. Which, again, I cannot, will not, and do not want to fault, because it is just like, yes, if you want to make a movie, if you want to make a comic strip, if you want to do anything, live stream, show, you want to talk to imaginary cats, do it. It doesn't have to be the apex legends of quality and whatever. It's like, if you guys are having fun making your movie, then great. I'm pretty sure these people had fun making their movie, and that's That's all that matters on that end. And then I watched it. I don't know if you get money from that, like maybe from the ads that went by. I put, 0.4 cents into the pockets of the Asylum movie production crew. And without bad stuff, how do we know what's amazing? And some of the amazing stuff is still dumb. But again, I have to say, like, compared to those other dinosaur movies I wanted to watch, tried to watch, the other shark movie, like those were painful. Those were slogs. Even with skipping ahead, it was like, oh, guys, why are you doing this? But with this one, it was like from beginning to end, it was fairly nonstop. Even the slow parts were still dumb enough. That it's like, this is making me feel smart. And or they just didn't last long enough for you to dwell on how terrible they were. Like the dinosaurs escaping in that, I cannot remember the name. It definitely had some sort of semi-clever play on Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, which also didn't match up with the story anyway. But that one went through just long periods where it's just like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Like, Dr. Johnson, like, what do you think? Like, oh, I don't know. Like, this is unprecedented at best. It's just like, but what do you think? Mr. Whatever, like, oh, the bottom line is we got to make money off of this thing, and how can we? And it's just like, oh my God, you guys are not good at improv. You're just saying the same things over and over again, or you're following the script, which is just saying the same things over and over again. Like, either way, I'm skipping this movie 15-minute chunks at a time, and it still feels like it's 9 hours long. But Shark Side of the Moon. The title is what gets you in there, and then the nonsense, it keeps you there. You really want to know, like, especially once they start explaining things, where it's just like, wait, what? I gotta see this to the end now. Like, I really gotta see every part of this, because your guys' reasoning is nuts. One part, every movie now, it has to have that part where somebody either sacrifices themselves for everybody else, and they're just like, they did it. And the other version of that is somebody sacrifices themselves, and then it's just like, oh, obviously that character is still alive. They're going to show up later to Han Solo save everybody again later on. And or end up being the person that survives the whole movie or what have you. So at one point, this one guy who they're just like, no, like, you can't die. You're the one that's going to fix everything. You're the engineer. And he's like, no, like, I'll buy you some time. And they keep doing this stuff where it's just like, there's like 100 sharks. Like, all you did was knock down one, and somehow it was like, that bought us some time. Like, the sharks are all gone. Like, why though? But why? So dude goes out. Again, if you do watch it, I won't spoil how he goes out, because it's just like, are you sure you guys are gonna keep this in here? I think you need a bit. All right, that's okay. Okay, so he's out there with the sharks. He's, I don't know, I'm gonna give him 15, 20 feet from the ship. And, he does the whole whatever, like, yeah, I might be out, but I'm taking you with me. And a shark jumps on him. There's an explosion that seems kind of small, and then there's nothing. Like, they don't cut away. It's just huge shark, jumps on a guy, explosion, and then, oh, sharks are, that's why I keep watching these as well, because I'm like, there's only so many good shark movies out there, and real sharks doing what they do is amazing and scary, but it's like, I still want to see something, even crazier. I skimmed through one at Christmas time that was like some sort of Christmas shark movie where somehow everybody was still getting taken out by this magical Christmas shark. Even though it was like, just stop going near the water. Like, no, we got to stop this thing. Like, just stand 20 feet away from the thing. Call anybody else, but whatever. That was bad. And also, you just didn't get to see enough shark nonsense. Shark Side of the Moon. Shark Side of the Moon. Oh, man. It's definitely a watch. But yeah, dude explodes. Like, there's just like, it wasn't even like a blood stain left there. It was just like this black, just charred circle of just like, well, I guess both the shark and the man were just completely atomized. And fine, I don't know. Pretty sure with the type of how you initiated that explosion, that's not what would happen. But he's just gone. But in my head, like I said to myself, I said, he's not dead. I was like, this movie is so poorly put together that they're not going to explain it for sure, or maybe they will, but it's just like, they were atomized. There's nowhere for him to have gone. Like I said before, it's the moon, and it's just poor CG moon, so there's nothing. Like, for miles, if anything had survived, you would see it. And the premise of this scene, this scenario, was he took out all of the sharks. So there was, at least 3 to 4 that they would show, but it, kind of intimated that there was like 20 or 30, like they were done for, all the sharks were coming. So supposedly he not only exploded himself, but he also exploded a bunch of sharks. And then there's nothing left. There's nothing left except for this one little sploosh on the ground. But I still was like, I'm going to predict that guy's going to come back and save the day later. And I think he might have already been missing a leg too. But he spoiler alert, he shows up again. And it's just like, how though? But how? There was nothing left. You guys, did you guys watch this movie? You can go back and you can cut some stuff. It's okay. Or you can CG some more things to somehow I don't know. Like, you gotta storyboard things. You really gotta storyboard things, guys. But so far, in the history of all the asylums that I've seen, I'm pretty sure it is the first asylum movie I ever watched from beginning to end. Didn't skip ahead. I did have to pause and go back several times, though. Just be like, wait, what just happened? Did they show just what just happened, or they're just gonna let us, figure it out with our imagination? And sometimes it was like, oh, that was up to me. That was my job to figure out what happened there. I think towards the end as well, the whole idea of needing oxygen to breathe just kind of didn't matter anymore. As long as you were adjacent to a spaceship within the last 5 minutes, you were fine. It just didn't come up. Oh, and their futuristic gear was just iPads. They just had regular iPads with like just the normal case that like with the little flap where it was like if you close it over and it's got like a little magnetic, 1-inch strip. And so often that's just like hanging there, which is like, oh my god, guys. One of you must own a 3D printer. Just print off something futuristic to snap your iPad into. It doesn't need to work. You don't even have. What are you guys doing? And all of their earpieces were just straight up just ear pods, like just cheap, dollar store ear pods. And sometimes they tap them to talk, sometimes they wouldn't. It was all over the road. But I do think that the most realistic part of it was like, yeah, you guys would just be using little ear pods in the future still, and an iPad. Like that just makes more sense than the weird stuff that they put in, like in the Star Trek movies, where their futuristic gear is just like, this is an insane amount of stuff just to show one message. Like, you guys are gonna lose your minds when you see iPhones. Ooh, it's just getting bigger and bigger. But yeah, some of the sets were fine. Like, somebody there has the capacity to make something good. It was like they just needed a few more locations. More than one room/bridge to do all of their space talking on. And then the rest of my time is spent watching spelling bees. Weird. Should I fix this panel while I'm here? Why not? Who am I in a silent pictures? Complaining about how people can fix their stuff, and then I'm sitting here not fixing it, even though these sideburns are too thin. Spelling bees terrified me in school. And I got really mad. I'm pretty sure it was grade 4. It was grade 4. And everybody was all like, Shad is the best speller. Shad is so good at spelling. Shad always wins the spelling bee. And for some reason, like the whatever spelling bee game that we played this one day, it was stuff that I knew. Like, I just knew all the words this time, and normally I'm like, I can't keep in my head. But for some reason, this week, this month, it was all stuff that did stick in my head. And I just remember it drove me crazy, clearly, because it's, 20-some. It's like 30-some years later, and God, how old was grade 4? Anyway, it was a long, long time ago. And I don't even remember how it happened, but it was like I spelled the word, and and I was just invisible. Like, this has happened a few times in my life where I'll do something, say something, and somehow it was just like, I'm pretty sure everybody was looking at me and it was my turn. You said it's your turn, go. And then it was just like, and Sean? And then it was Sean's turn, and he spelled it exactly the same way that I spelled it. And I was just like, completely frozen. I'm like, that's what I did. That's what I did. But I don't remember, like, you know, this is long before I would ever speak up for myself or say anything without being asked to speak. So it wasn't until, like, you know, I sat back down. So it was like, you're eliminated. I'm just like, I'm eliminated. Like, but he just said the same thing that I did. And then even so, he looked at me like, huh? Like, I just did the same thing that you did. And I'm just like, what is happening right now? And then I remember sitting down, and at least somebody else in the class was just like, you just spelled that right. It was like, that's what I thought. And then he just spelled the same way, and it was just like, so you saw that. Like, what just happened happened. I didn't just imagine it, right? And just like, yeah. Like, okay. And that's it. It was like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know what to think about this. But there's been a few of those instances in my life where I'm like, why did that just happen? And sometimes there's one other person in the room that's at least just like, I saw that happen. Like, okay, I'm not making up my whole existence. But it really, I don't know. There's like a few just things like that in my life where I'm like, you can't win, don't try. Why bother? And other instances in my life where just like, no, you can win and you can try, and it's okay to say, excuse me, before we move on, can we acknowledge the fact that I did just do that right? Or that I did it wrong? Or anything like, it wasn't even, you've been eliminated. It was just like, and next? And it's just like, did you not hear me? Like, what just happened? And now people complain that I'm too loud. Instead of, you're so quiet and you never say anything. Yeah, because whenever I do, I question my actual existence. Life is but a dream. Anyway, it's cleaned up another stream. Little comic stripping. And maybe if I can find some motivation, I'll remember to add the words and post it on Instagram. Sometime this week, who knows? But yeah, thanks to autocorrect, it was like, I don't know how to spell anything anymore. Like, I feel like when I do start writing something on the computer, for example, or I'm like, this is too hard. I gotta go type stuff on the iPad or on my phone because the computer doesn't as quickly like suggest words for like, you're probably trying to spell this word. Like, yes, please put that in. Don't make me try to finish spelling these words. Or / like, I'll write something on the computer and then I do have to go through and like wait for it to start highlighting things and respelling everything. But I don't know. According to all the ads on the internet, it's just like, hey, don't you want to write stuff without having to write stuff? Just get the robot to do it. It only already hates you. It's only already threatening your existence and telling you to dump your wife and be with the computer. Oh man, future's weird. The future's weird. One of the last weird little ads, Instagram ads that I saw this week was that I see them all the time, but it's just like every time it's just like makes sense. But it was fully that same ad, or not the same one, but another variation of that ad that's just like, hey, you wanna be able to post stuff on YouTube? You wanna make YouTube videos without having to make YouTube videos? It's simple. Follow me and I'll show you exactly how to make money on YouTube without actually doing anything at all. And it's just like, what? Other than the making money part, it's just like, do anything else. Run any other kind of scam. Why are there so many people that don't want to make content and think everything's stupid that are just, and that's why, sorry, I answered my own question. I think it's stupid, therefore I will just take advantage of it and take the money from all the stupid people. Yeah, isn't that, you know, that's the crux of everything? That's our goal? That's what we're doing over here? You try to trick all the suckers that are giving you your money for whatever reason. You know, like I'm putting the stuff on a mug over here, I'm going to sell it and be like, hey, who wants a sexy dinosaur mug? And then the idiots are like, oh, I want a sexy dinosaur mug. That's just for the sake of having, because it was a drawing that no. I wanted to have that mug so that it's like I'll also throw it in the store. I don't know if that mug is still in the store, and I don't even really care. I don't keep track of that stuff. I just like the making of things. That's it. Just trying to making our way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries. Sure would help a lot. Sure, we'd like to get away. Sometimes you gotta go. Not to the bar every day, though. Oh, Fraser, you were a bad person.
I always enjoyed Fraser Crane. He was mean to everyone, and he didn't need to be. He wasn't invited there, but he came in there and was like, you guys are a bunch of drunken idiots. Anyway, I'm gonna, lie about stuff, and we'll retcon it later and when I have my own show. Yeah, good guy.
Worst guy, Skeletor. Worst guy. Worth to be? Am I better than Fraser? Please tell me I'm better than Fraser. You're better than Fraser. You're better than Fraser. All right? Anyway, this has been another week of streaming fun. Ideally, as far as I know, and without any regard for the future, I should be doing a Streamlabs stream on Friday, as we're supposed to do every Friday. But I'm good for tonight. I'm gonna eat some snacks and go to bed. Rita the mayor has to go do some work and stuff anyway, and everybody have a good night, have a good week, and enjoy your own stream, enjoy your own creative processes, whatever they may be, and just always remember that there's no point to anything. There's no point to, so it's okay to practice whatever it is you want to do. So sometime during this week, I'm gonna practice on painting another giant painting of an action figure, and stop motion myself arguing with that action figure about how they want a painting and I don't want to do it. It's the paradox of time, people. The paradox of time. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. Have a good night. Thanks again.
Meow, 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 meow.
And of course, Ripley's the sweetest angel, and always nothing but the most delightful, heartfelt wishes for everyone to have a good week and a great time. And I don't care one way or the other what you guys do, because, I am the Alpha, I am the Omega, I've got the cool hat and the cool mug, and I am the best, and everyone will eventually bow down to me. I will be the ruler. I will have my own shark planet on the shark side of the earth, huh? So think about that when I'm, someday riding into your town with sharks for shoes, because I'll do it, and they'll still be alive, and it will be terrifying. That does sound terrifying, but also stupid, and will not work. Have a great week, everybody. This has been Stream Time Fun. This has been Mr. Cartoon's art stream. I gotta come up with, if I could just come up with a good, just like, that'll do, Paint Pig. That'll do. It's time for this Paint Pig to go wallow in the mud. Nope, definitely not gonna go with that. We'll come up with something one of these days. Ripley, hit the outro credits, please. Stream is over. That is all. Say two. Let's go to the mall. Let's not. Etc.